up, what has it been like to coach Javon, over the years?
It's been, you look at Javon and Rashad, but just starting off with Javon, fifth-year senior, he got back here. His first year was the year when he was a redshirt freshman and won the ACC championship. And, it was cool. Coach showed a video today. They showed a video today and see him make some plays, in his 4 games that he played in last year, and to get to this point and to be able to have an opportunity to potentially be in the same position. But even so, as you go about that relationship, Javon's a kid from Philadelphia as well, went to Imhotep High School and, recruited him ever since his sophomore year. So you look at that goes 8 years, not just his time of being here, but those previous 3 years of the work put into recruiting him, getting to know him while he was at that school and seeing him nonstop while I was always in that area. So, big day, his last chance and him and Rashad's last chance to play at Acrisure, and I'm excited to watch those two play and make some good football plays and hopefully have some good moments with this opportunity in front of them.
Both of them had pretty decent performances on Saturday. What did you see from them, and what did you like from their game?
The biggest thing that I truly liked and enjoyed from the back end from Saturday was the physicality. We knew going into that game it was going to be a physical football game. We were told on Tuesday that Georgia Tech went live in practice. So we knew what type of football game it was going to be. And, we know they're a physical football team as well, and we take pride in that. And we were not happy with our physicality and our performance the week before. So that was a big emphasis for ourselves going into the last game and knowing what type of game it was going to be. And we wanted to make sure we didn't turn down anything. And we came out looking back at it as the more physical football team. And you look at it, Rashad, I think it was one of the first early third downs, not one of the first third downs, one of the early third downs. We were in a blitz and they try to throw it hot to their tight end, and boom, Rashad comes out of that break a million miles an hour, hits that tight end and knocks it loose. The first 3rd and 4 of the football game, they tried throwing that T swing pass to their tailback, and boom, Javon fires up, sees it, doesn't hesitate, goes and gets the TFL. And there was time and time again of other moments for the defensive backs and defenses in general to show that physicality. So if you say anything about Saturday, that's what I was most proud of. And as a back end, and Coach Collins as well, just as a secondary, we pride ourselves in that. And I thought those guys stood to the challenge, accepted the challenge, and did a good job with it on Saturday.
How much did Cruz play into that physicality, and what was it like having him back?
Got a smile on my face. It was good to see Cruz back. Cruz, big fan of him. Like I say, his approach to the game, his mental, and even when he was out the last few weeks, Cruz was in the back the entire time, taking steps through plays, and he never left mentally. He might not have been out there physically when we played Stanford and where it was the week before, Notre Dame, after, but mentally he was well in tune to those game plans, and even on the sideline adjustments and checks. But when you look at it from his standpoint, he came down and hit. He made some good hits. Haynes King, that quarterback's a tough kid. That kid's tough now. He took a lot of hits in that football game from us on all 3 levels, D-line, linebackers, as well as secondary, and kept getting up all the way to the end and making plays in the 4th quarter. But it was good to see Cruz come down. He had about 3 or 4 big hits in that game. There was one time on a backside screen going towards our locker room where they tried him when he came from the backside. The kid tried cutting back, and he about cut him in half. It was good. So it was good to see him back in there, get him reps. I think he was about mid-50s. So we worked him back into that lineup. Kavir and Javon started that game. We got Cruz in that first 3rd down, got him feeling a little bit. Then we got him in there in that 3rd series. He was ready to roll, and we had to make sure, just from his conditioning and everything, not to put too much on his plate too early and too often. So did a good job of rotating those 3 guys around throughout the game with their rep counts as well.
How important will it be to have match that level of physicality this week against Miami?
Absolutely. They're a big physical football team. You look at it, that offensive line, Jesus. I think that left tackle is 6'9", 340. So they got some big boys out there, obviously up front, and they're physical. Their wide receiver, Malachi Tony, he's a physical runner. I know he's 5'11", 188, but the kid finishes. He's got a lot of yards after catch. He finishes on catches coming back to the football. He finishes his runs moving forward. So we got to make sure we do a good job of finishing, running our feet on contact, stepping all the way in the cylinder, not diving too early, and just being violent with our arms and hips upon approach. So we got to match it again, and at the end, it's football. You got to be physical every Saturday. Like you say, Miami's a physical football team, but I think that's part of our DNA here. As you sit back and you watch our defense, I'd say, we take pride in people walking away saying we play fast and we play physical. So every single day, every single Saturday, that's got to be a part of the formula for us to be successful and have success on Saturdays and come out with a win.
What kind of challenges does a guy like Carson Beck present, and just the way your guys in the back end played against an experienced quarterback like King? Just what kind of confidence could they bring into Saturday?
They're a little bit different, right? King compared to Beck, like King was obviously the power read, all their running. Then they had the option off their run to throw some passes and pops and things like that. So he added a different element of another hat in the game to force one-on-ones and everything across the board. And now with Carson Beck, he's a very talented kid. You'll see some times where he's throwing balls off his back foot and he's placing things in some good holes. He's very talented with his arm talent, but he's also mentally sharp. You can see before the plays of just him checking if it's protections, checking things of the looks that he gets. You can see he's in that film room a lot throughout the week, just as you sit here and watch the film of him and how he goes about the operation and how he executes the operation. So you're looking at a quarterback that's mentally sharp and also has the physical tools as well to get the ball and place the ball where it needs to be based on what he sees.
Kavir is obviously, he's got 3 interceptions and he's picked up your defense and everything in a year. But you talked about physicality earlier. Has his physicality impressed you as much as anything he's done since he's been here?
Kavir, what's impressed me the most is honestly Kavir as a person and as a kid. I say a kid, he's 24 years old. 23, maybe 24. I tell him he's 26 sometimes. But just in general, like if you look at that beginning of the season of where Kavir was, and Kavir never put his head down, he waited for the opportunity, and when it came, that kid struck. He's got 3 picks. We were just talking about he should have about 5 this year. That he had 2 hands on another 2. But that's the most impressive part of Kavir is who Kavir is as a person. I think he comes from great parents. It was cool to go out to Stanford and him to get to play in front of his hometown and his family. I think he had 52 people at that game. And to be able to meet his entire family, to see where he comes from and where he gets that toughness and his focus and his mindset from. But him as a person is number one. But then when you go from the physicality standpoint, I think from a tackling and everything standpoint, what impresses me most about Kavir is his angles and just the way he can control his body. That's what gets him in position to make so many tackles. Like, he's 173 pounds. He's not going to kill anybody, all right? But his angles are so sharp in how he attacks those ball carriers, the reception area. Then he has great body control where he doesn't get out of whack. Because that's sometimes you'll see guys in good position, but now their base is too narrow, they're running too high, they can't drop their hips to strike. And that's what he does so well. That puts him in position to execute those one-on-one tackles in open field and in space.
Is that part of what you saw from him on tape when you guys, before you got him in the portal?
Yeah, what you guys see him doing, he did the same thing at UC Davis. Like, I don't care, like, whatever level, it doesn't matter what level you play. Like, he has the traits from, being able to run fast enough, being able to jump high enough. Like, he has those traits. He's a little bit undersized, but when you put the kid's film on, he just made plays and plays and plays. And I say this, and I even talk about it in recruiting. Some kids have an innate ability to make plays. Those interceptions, that interceptions where he came from the backside and read the quarterback's shoulder from Notre Dame, that's him, all right? That's his instincts and his feeling out there, and he did the same thing when he was at UC Davis. They played Cal in 2024. We played Cal as well 2 or 3 weeks after, and he had a forced fumble down on the as Cal was coming out. His team picked it up and scooped it and scored, I think. And I think he had 15 tackles that game. I know it was double digits for sure. But he was making plays. So he did it versus Cal Poly, Montana State, whatever. And he did it versus Cal as well. And he's doing it in the ACC against Louisville and Syracuse and NC State and these guys as well.
It's not only been the secondary to record interceptions this year. Obviously, the linebackers have played a big part in that, but just curious if you kind of reflect on this year from a defensive perspective and being opportunistic like that, just what's allowed the defense to come away with as many interceptions as you guys have?
Yeah, I think, we have a sharp group of kids. I think sometimes the change-ups have been good. And, when you look at it, Braylon's 100-yard return, we were in a coverage down there where we were manning up across, and we, switched some things based on what they were doing, and Bray popped out, and, he's got good feeling. But it was good from the adjustments that we had and made that adjustment, and, Bray saw it and knew exactly what it was. So that goes off of film study as well, right? Of Braylon being mentally aware and sharp, then his playmaking ability from there. And you look at those backers, I think each one of them have two. I think he has two, Kyle has two, and Heem has two. With two of those guys, maybe three touchdowns. Heem has 2 touchdowns. So those are good football plays. So I think sometimes you look at it. There's some change-ups that we put on guys, and Coach Bates has done a great job. Situationally, changing some things up and flipping some things, and that from a coverage standpoint on guys, maybe catch guys off guard. Then those guys have done a good job. Last year, that was a big talk. I remember during camp, you guys asked me about the drop interceptions. All right, and I think last year we had the opportunities. We didn't pull them in, all right? And this year, we're just executing at a higher rate. And when they present, we're making the most of it, and we're striking this year. And that's the best thing to see. These guys are striking when those opportunities present.
Knowing that Haynes King had only had 2 interceptions coming into the game, how excited were you guys as a defensive staff that you doubled that number by the end of the game?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing, and not just the interceptions, it's about takeaways and trying to get our offense more possessions, right? Trying to get Coach Bell the ball more so he can go down there and put that ball in the end zone. Because, you look at it, I think it was, so the first we 3 and out on them, then it was the second, 3rd down, they went for it on 4th down, boom, we put them on a short field. 38 yards later, we score a touchdown, we're up 14-0. So that's just as important as any takeaway or interception we got, was putting them on that short field and or giving our offensive ball on a short field. So even those, I think we had 3 4 and outs and 3 4th down stops in that game as well with those 2 interceptions. So obviously the interceptions are great. I think, I don't know, we're at 14 something this year, maybe 12, 14, I don't know. I know our takeaways have increased. And I think our 4th down stops have been pretty good so far this year. But most important is about getting that offense the ball back and giving them another chance to put the ball in the end zone. And everybody watch Boosie Turner touch the ball, which I think we all like to see, the way he ran that ball last game.
Is this one of the better tackling teams you feel like you've had since you've been here?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, that's with no statistical data. So, but as you sit back and watch it, this year I feel like we've done a better job of it. I couldn't tell you how many missed tackles we had this year compared to previous years. But I think we're playing fast, and I think we need to continue of what we did last week. Because at the end of the day, the week before wasn't good enough. All right. So yeah, last week was great, but we got to go out there, and I think we did a good job on this first day today, on this Tuesday, of continuing to practice physical and take good angles and not get lackadaisical or lazy or complacent or happy with what we did. And we got to keep putting our finger on them as coaches, and those guys pressing each other to have success on Saturday. So I think Saturday was good, but we got to be even better this upcoming Saturday from a tackling standpoint, because those guys can make you miss now. Number 10 can make 3 guys miss in a phone booth. So you got to take great angles, and if one guy misses, that next dang guy better be there. Because if we're loafing or half doing it, expecting somebody else to make a play, we're all going to be mad in here.
There's been some talk about Kyle perhaps playing safety at the next level. Kyle Lewis, do you think he can project with that to play safety?
Oh man, that's up to them to figure out and decide, and whatever's best for their scheme. I think he's a great athlete, and I know he has great success, and we're not scared to put him in one-on-one situations in what we do. But that's up to those 32 teams at the next level to figure out what is best for their system and what he can do for them. But like I say, I always say this: I'm happy Kyle's on this team, and I'm happy that he's out there in front of our safeties, rerouting guys and closing space quick to help take away some things to the field.
When you think about the week following the Louisville game, and then obviously last week as well, what about this team has made it so easy, I guess, but what has allowed them to bounce back and rebound from tough losses?
Yeah, I mean, that's life, right? Like, it's adversity. And, I mean, at the end of the day, as coaches, we are teachers of life and those things. And you have to be able to bounce back if it's after a loss, if it's after academics not going well, if it's after a bad practice. That's not just something that just happens on a Saturday. Like, oh, they lost. How do you get them to bounce back? Well, how do you get them to bounce back every single day? You know, and that's our job as coaches, and Coach Narduzzi does a great job of that, of flushing things and us moving on. And I think we did a good job of that. You know, we lost and nobody was happy, but at the end of the day, there's still a lot for us to play for. And every Saturday, there's a lot for us to play for. If there's a conference title on the line or not, like, you're still playing for your school, for your pride. You're going out there to play the game you love that you played your entire life. So there's always something on the line every single Saturday. But I think Coach Dews does a good job, and you know, just in general as coaches, that's a mindset. That's not just, okay, on Saturday we lost. No, that's adversity in general, and our kids face it, we face it. And how do you bounce back every single day in meetings or whatever it may be to get those guys to continue to go? Because even in general, throughout the seasons are long. How do you keep them going through the season, even when it's good, bad, whatever it may be? You know, that's our job as coaches.
Anything else?